Hello and welcome. Now, the issue on the table today is reforming Ghana's tax regime. Now, this has been initiated by the Ghana Integrity Initiative, and they are demanding that government change its tax regime as a first step to equality in wealth in the nation. Now, this is on the back of a report which has been done by Tax Justice Network Africa and Christian Aid, mainly saying that our tax regimes penalize the poor too much, give a lot of loopholes to the high and mighty, so the rich is becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer. Now, in the President's State of the Nation address, he mentioned this. Also at the Independence Day, he mentioned that the gap between the rich and the poor could even cause a matter of national security, and that it is important that we bridge it. The GII is saying that if you change your tax laws, you could bridge this gap. With me in the studio to talk about this is Vitus Azim, Executive Director for Ghana Integrity Initiative. It's going to be a wonderful discussion. My name is Nana Sakwao, and this is PM Express. Trying to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, bring some equity in the balance of wealth, and we're going to achieve that through taxes. Now, how does it work? Because as far as I know, the tax regime somehow seems to favor the big ones and penalize the young ones. How would a country like Ghana be able to escape this norm and bring equality in the livelihood of the average citizen? And again, Vitus, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
But the first thing I want to find out from you is, how would you do this to bring equality in our system?
Thank you. Let me start by saying that from where I come, that's Ghana Integrity Initiative, the tax system is one of the ways that you can use to bridge the gap.
Sure.
But corruption is another thing that, if not dealt with, continues to widen the gap, because the corrupt are able to stash away monies, put their children in the best of schools, maybe outside the country, put them in the best of jobs, leaving behind their colleagues and classmates whose parents cannot afford. So corruption is one of the major things. But then with tax, tax has a redistributive function. In other words, the aim of tax is not just to generate money for development, but also to take money from the rich, the nanas, and then share it among the poor in society in terms of providing infrastructure, in terms of providing basic social services like education and health. And so anything that is done to reduce this redistributive effect, hence reducing the amount of revenue that the country can generate, tends to also increase the gap, the inequality gap between people in society. And so, how do we do this? One, we need to make sure that we have a progressive tax system in place. When I say progressive tax system, you pay based on the income that you earn, the property that you have. So that if I earn 2,000 Ghana cedis, I should not pay as much tax as somebody who is earning 10,000 Ghana cedis. Regressive taxes are consumer-based taxes where you and I pay the same amount for it. When you go to buy fuel, the tax is the same on the fuel as the tax on the fuel that I also buy. So at the end of the day, the poor spend relatively more of their income on fuel, for example, than the rich, because it's a percentage of your income.
Yeah.
So one approach is to make sure that we concentrate more, focus more on the progressive taxes. Unfortunately, for a very long time, almost 10 to 20 years now, Ghana and a number of African countries have concentrated on the regressive taxes, so the VATs and the customs duties and the excise duties, because one, they are cheaper to collect. Two, our friends, the foreign donors, multilateral donors are telling us, look, you need to reduce your corporate taxes to entice foreign direct investment into the country.
You know, so this progressive tax, how then do you do it? Because I know tax is always based on a percentage,
Yes.
and therefore, if I buy the same, if I'm able to afford the same thing as you, if you buy 2, you pay 2% of it. If I buy 1, I still pay 2% of the one that I bought. So how would the progressive differ?
You see, the progressive has to do with the incomes you earn. So, like I said, it's graduated. If, for example, somebody earns, I think in Ghana, if you earn, let's just take an example. You earn 1,000 cedis a year. You don't pay tax. 0 tax. Then somebody earning 1,005, maybe you pay 5%. Somebody earning 3,000, 10%, and it goes like that to 25. 25% is what we call the marginal tax rate. So nobody pays tax on his or her income beyond 25%.
Okay.
But then you have to earn up to a certain level where you'll be asked to pay the 25%. But those earning lower pay lower at a lower rate. Now, under the NPP, they decided that private sector was the engine of growth. So they decided to reduce the marginal tax rate from 35%. We were paying, corporate tax was 35%, marginal tax rate was 35%, they brought it down to 25%. And rather shifted it to the consumer base. You know, the NDC introduced the VAT in 1995, which was followed by a lot of demonstrations, the Kumepreko demonstration. Then they withdrew it, allegedly to do more public education. Brought it back in 1998 at a lower rate. From the very beginning, we knew, with those in the system, knew that the target was 17.5%. That's what happens in other countries. That's what the IMF was pressuring us to do. But because of the resistance, they put it at 10%. Gradually, they said, oh, we need education. Education is very important. So let's put 2.5% on VAT, 12%, 12.5%, so that the 2.5 goes into education. But you know, you and I know today that 2 and 5% either is not fully paid to the education fund, or what is paid is not used just for the purpose for which that VAT was imposed. So it's gradually taking the education budget completely, which is not right. Then they say, oh, health is very important. Let's introduce the national health insurance, 2.5% VAT, bringing it to 15%, even though they decided not to use the name VAT, like putting, is it sheep in wolves, no, wolves in sheep's clothing or something. It was a VAT in all aspects. Even the receipt was a VAT receipt. Now, NDC has sent it to the 70.5% that they wanted. They initially wanted, almost 20 years down the line to get to that point. So, again, the point is that it is easier to collect. You don't realize the amount of it. You go and buy fuel, you think that that's the price of fuel. You don't know that in that price of fuel, so much is VAT, is tax that you are paying.
You see, I'm listening, but even in the advanced world, even though maybe they do more than 25%, I mean, they can go somewhere up to 50% if, depending on how much you're going to earn. If your income is, you could take about 50% in taxes. But the system is generally the same, where I know in the UK, I think the tax element was about 80% on fuel. So for every £10 worth of fuel you buy, £8 was literally taxes, and the petrol itself was two pounds. You know, that's how much it was. So obviously, if you didn't earn a lot, or it takes more of your money, how else are you going to do it unless you stand by the pump and say, ah, that's Vitus, we need to change the price of fuel for him?
No, you cannot do that. You can reduce. Actually, exemptions have not proved to be very effective in our system. So if you want to say, let's sell it at a lower price, you are likely to have a lot of problems.
No, they'll sell it at a higher price.
With the smuggling and the underground black marketing and all that. So you wouldn't succeed that way. So what you do is, we are saying that shift the focus to the progressive taxes. Property tax is a very effective or a lucrative way of generating taxes. Everybody that has gone to register for a plot of land and has started developing, you get on the person and you pay property tax. You can imagine the number of houses that are in this country. Look at taxis and trotros, articulators, tipper trucks. Every day they are on the road, falling and pouring sand on the road. If each of them is even just paying 5 cedis a day, each of the trucks, trotros, no, the big cars, 5 cedis a day, and each of the taxis, just 1 cedi a day, that is a lot of money. That is income tax based on the income that they are getting. But you know, the taxes these trucks pay, you don't know whether it's charged by the owner, is paid by the owner or the taxi or the driver, because it's just one tax they pay. But each of them is earning an income. So we're saying that government, you need to move into this area. I did an analysis some time ago when I saw they publish it. If an articulated truck is paying 45 cedis in 3 months, and a driver in a government employment is paying 50 cedis a month, where is the progressivity in the tax system? Where is the fairness? And as I said, you don't even know whether it's the driver or is the owner of the car. So the two of them are paying one tax. That is not good. So we need to shift from that. But it's so easy to just say, oh, petrol, let the oil companies take the money and pay to government. Hotels take the money and pay to government. GRA doesn't go there at all, or they go there once in a while to check and also do their own thing. So that is the point that we're making, that the regressive taxes end up punishing the poor more, widening the inequality gap further.
Well, another thing, maybe to digress, but is linked to this, is our inability to get proper data so that, you know, we know this national ID thing, we've talked about it 1,000 times, but something that is able to pin down where people are, so at least you can go and collect your tax, or he needs that ID to go to a hospital or to go to a bank so you can track him down. I mean, will that help, and why aren't we doing it?
It would help a great deal. But again, it goes back to what I started with, is corruption. We want to please certain people. Why should a Ghanaian have a driver's license, national health insurance, social security card, a passport? I mean, so many of those things.
And all could be different names.
When one, I'm not even looking at the different names, but the fact that one can meet all the demands of an identity card. But you want to have, for political expediency, you want to have 5 different agencies. You know, the matter was raised during the NPP time when they wanted to talk about a voter's, I even forgot, the voter's ID card, to merge that with the citizen identity card. And there was a problem, just because who wants to be ahead of the other? But the amount of money that we spend, just look at this national identity, it looks like it has failed. Nobody's talking about it again, yet we've poured money into it. So how to locate people is an investment. Number your streets, no, name your streets, number the houses. And sometimes it's even so easy. Lands department, you go there and you ask them to furnish the GRA with the number of people, the names of people that have registered plots in a month. And then the GRA goes after them. They just need to call them. You are invited to the IRS or GRA office for an interview. Oh, you saw that, we've seen that you bought this plot. What business do you do? That's how you track taxpayers. You send people, investigators, to sit in drinking bars, restaurants, to go to weddings, to go to birthday parties. Monday, you invite the organizers to your office. Oh, how much did it cost you to do this party? How are you able to generate the money? Do you have any tax papers? In the US, the IRS has helped the government to arrest criminals. Because you just track, this person has a hotel room and goes every weekend. And yet the fellow says he's not working. He has no income tax file. So it's just that...
Being proactive.
It's just that our GRA is not working.
Another example maybe I can add to what you say is if you buy a video deck or TV or anything that shows in the UK, before they ring it through the machine, they take your address. And within the next 2 days, they'll come and ask you if you pay TV license, because if you bought a video deck, it means you must have a TV.
And you might have also used a credit card.
Yeah.
So they already have your information in the database. So many ways of getting the information. We are not doing that. Partly because we are not serious about it, or because some people are benefiting from the loose system. For example, if you go to register your car and you don't want to pay tax on it, you probably have to pay something to somebody to suppress some information. And that is costing us. So it's just easy to just go up. Even in the hotels, the VAT. You go and the hotel manager, they ask you, oh, should I give you an official receipt, a VAT receipt or an ordinary receipt? And you ask, what do you mean by giving me? Oh, you see, if we are going to give a VAT receipt, you pay more. And the natural Ghanaian will say, okay, I don't want the VAT receipt. After all, I'm paying from my pocket. Forgetting that you're depriving the government of some revenue.
depriving the road that you drove to the hotel. Just to say, we are trying to get GRA so that they can see what actions they are taking from their side, and also the Deputy Finance Minister to Forson, or would try and get them so that they find out what they are doing to help in this aspect, because it's a very interesting thing. Now, one thing that we've mentioned in the report is reducing corporate taxes from 35% to 25%. Obviously, the report is saying that no, you need to do it at 35%. Sometimes when you reduce something, you're able to widen your net and get more in the pot. Isn't it a good idea to bring it to 25%?
But that is our problem. We reduce the tax rate. We don't do anything to widen the net. Just look at virtually every lawyer in government practice also practices privately. They go to court. How many of them have tax files? Look at our parliamentarians. How many of them have files other than their employment files? Because they are lawyers, they are accountants, and all that they work. And I gave the example of the taxes and the trotros. We lower the thing for political expediency, but we don't do anything to widen the net. So we end up not getting what we would have got if we had stayed at the 35%.
But then again, we are always cash-strapped, and this is basically a low-hanging fruit that we can pick. So what is it that, make us not get the money from here rather than always send some official to some Scandinavian country to go and get some, dollars and come back?
I think it is lack of political will and commitment, and probably the inability of the revenue authorities and commitment to do what they have been employed and paid to do. There are so many leakages, even in the tax collection system. And we are not doing enough to block those leakages. Even if, for example, the revenue agency that you set up to collect taxes for you as a state is even found to be allowing direct leakages out and doing nothing about it. We took up the Info Solutions case. Have they come back to say that we've been able to recover all the money that we wrongly paid? Subsequently, about 2 months later, they also talked about procurement problems in the GRA. We haven't heard anything about what action has been taken. And this is an agency that is set up to collect monies for the state. And so they should be more conscious, because they go out and sweat. When I was at IRS, we used to go out and lock poor women's stores to make them pay tax. So if you collect tax in that way, shouldn't it pain you that you allow it to just leak through the holes? But you people have been discussing patriotism. That is something that is lacking in us as a nation. And that's why we are not making headway.
Since you bring in patriotism, let me divert and come again. Is it also because of our disconnect between citizen and nation? Because I really don't feel I own any part of this road, or I own any part of that hospital. Obviously, until I have a headache, it's too far away. We are unable to connect with national assets.
I think it is the colonial way of thinking. The white man brought it. And when the white man left, the government replaced the white man. And so we tend to look at things as, it's for the government, it's for the government, I don't have a hand in it. And because we don't actually, majority of us don't actually pay the taxes we're supposed to pay, which we would have felt the need to see how those monies are used, then we tend to behave that way. The second part of it is that we look at the leaders. How are they spending our monies? And you're not encouraged to voluntarily comply, to voluntarily go and pay tax. Because, after all, I earn less than these people. I pay my taxes every month. And yet, they misuse the monies and become richer. Why should I be, unless I'm aware that I'm going to be arrested and prosecuted, why would I voluntarily go and pay taxes? So again, I would blame the leadership. They need to sit up. How many times? The GRA has lawyers. How many times have you ever heard of successful prosecutions of tax evaders in court? And tax evasion is a crime in this office, in this country.
Well, elsewhere, most, big tycoons and big musicians and everything, they're not scared of the police. But when they say the tax man is at your door, my God, everybody shakes. How are we going to get to that stage? Stay there.
With all these electricity outages, wouldn't you want to own a fan that provides cool breeze, bright lights, and even enables you to charge your phone when the lights are out? Introducing the all-new Quality Rechargeable Fan. Quality Rechargeable Fan comes with a rechargeable battery that automatically kicks in when the power goes out and works for up to 8 hours, long enough for a good night's sleep. This fan has a super bright LED light feature that comes in handy when your lights are out. This fantastic fan also has a USB portal that you can use to charge any kind of phone. And that's not all. The Quality Rechargeable Fan has anti-rust properties, stylish design, charging indicator, and a backup battery that cuts down your electricity bill. That's 100% value for money. The Quality Rechargeable Fan comes in 18 and 22 inches. For wholesale inquiries, call 0302-242-532. This fan is available on hire purchase to police, army personnel, or government employees, corporate bodies, and the general public for as low as 38 cedis per month. Also available in Monrovia, Liberia, at Syndicated Capital Liberia, located at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5586. Quality Rechargeable Fan. Electricity or no electricity, air they blow, light they bright, even your phone serve they charge.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Sometimes your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up, wake up with the great taste of Lipton. People all around the world enjoy the rich, refreshing taste of Lipton Yellow Label tea.
Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Join the world of Lipton Yellow Label every morning. The #1 tea brand in the world. Source: Euromonitor International.
Multi-TV is organizing a national installer training throughout the country. The training is for people who would like to learn about multi-TV satellite installation. Trainees will also go through some marketing tutorials to turn them into result-oriented salesmen. Cost of training is 50 Ghana cedis, which comes with an ID card, certificate, and lunch. Pick up your forms at the following venues and centers. Eastern Region in Koko, pick up your forms from now till the 1st of April 2014 at Satellite Zone. Afram Plains, Donkokrom, pick up your forms from now till the 3rd of April 2014 at Jigbodi and Sons Company. Akemodan, pick up your forms from now till the 4th of April at Festus Enterprise. Central Region, Asingfosu, pick up your forms from now till the 7th of April 2014 at Multi-Satellite. Western Region, Takwa, pick up your forms from now till the 10th of April 2014 at Antaf. Remember, Multi-TV's National Installer Training is coming to your doorstep. Call us on 0302-211-688 or 0244-340-424 or 0244-340-415 for more details. Multi-TV, just thrills.
Free. Multi-TV, more TV for free.
Star Assurance, I'll take care of you.
All it takes is letting go.
Let you down, I'll always be by your side. Star Assurance,
It's only when you do that you truly win.
wipe away your tears. Star Assurance, I'll be your best friend.
That's when you experience the magic of each moment.
Star Assurance,
Like it's the first time.
will be your
All it takes is letting go. A great man once said, the world is won by those who let go. At Star Assurance, we take care of the things you care about, so you're free to be all you can be. Let go and let Star. Talk to us today. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Are you struggling with your phone calls? Is that you? Or you? You here? Is it this? Or there? You don't have to tie your hands to a call. Let Quality Bluetooth free you up. Quality Bluetooth has 6 hours continuous talk time and 170 hours standby. It's easy, convenient, safe, and it is compatible with any Bluetooth-enabled device, Skype, Yahoo Messenger, and MSN. It is compatible with any phone. It has very clear sound even in a noisy area. Plus, you get 1 year limited manufacturer's warranty. For motorists, businessmen, nursing mothers, hairstylists, and all cell phone users, don't just buy a Bluetooth headset. Buy the best. Buy quality. For wholesale inquiries, contact 020-441-3484.
Now available in Monrovia, Liberia at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5568 or 088-8455-586.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Hello and welcome to the discussion Reforming Ghana's Tax Regime. Talking to Vitis Azim, Executive Director, Ghana Integrity Initiative. And just before I wanted to break, Vitis, how would you be able to build the taxman in Ghana's confidence or his aura so he's so feared that when they write you a letter from the taxman, you shiver thinking, what have I done wrong? Because, you know, like I said, elsewhere, you know, you can even get a letter from the IGP and you're okay with it. The tax secretary writes you a letter and you know that this could mean big trouble. How do we build that, you know, ring fence or that fear in them for people to abide?
It's just like this, the same in other sectors of our society. We have the laws. The Commissioner General has a lot of powers and a lot of discretion. Commissioner General can decide to close down this office and sell it and take the money, what you owe in taxes, and give the difference because you have failed to pay taxes. Mm-hmm. We don't enforce the law. I mentioned the issue, how many prosecutions have we seen? Mm-hmm. Because we don't do that, nobody fears you. But if you were doing that, people fear you. But the moral aspect of it is also to see that the monies that we pay are used effectively and efficiently for the benefit of the majority of Ghanaians. That is not GRA's work. Mm-hmm. It's on the political leadership. And we're not also seeing that. Let me just give you this example. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I left the house at 8 o'clock, got to the office at 12. From Kasua to the office at 12. Because it had rained, and that good road that we spent huge money to rain, a lot of sun had come from the hills there and blocked the road. Wow. And we were not moving. And this is a place where you have a toll booth, 24 hours. Look at the number of cars that go to Kasua, Winneba, Cape Coast, Wedro, Takoradi, all that. And the government cannot spend money to expand the lanes to 6, at least 6, or move one lane to Kasua, to Malam, so that those going to will be on one side. They can increase to 6 lanes. Those coming will have 6 lanes. Then this place, you need a very big bridge. They don't do it, and you are just collecting money 24 hours every day. One man should be able to do those changes. They are not doing it. So what will encourage me to pay if I had a chance of dodging? Mm-hmm. So those are the things that are creating this problem. So it's the two sides, enforcing the law, but also making sure that we see the benefits of the monies we pay. And both are lacking.
Another area which it touches on is that because there are taxes on utilities, you know, gas, water, and stuff like that, then the poor gets affected. Are we also building a habit of, please, I need it for free, please, I need it for free, don't tax me, I'm poor? Are we building that habit too?
I don't think we are building that habit. Because things like water, electricity, if you are poor, you will try to limit its usage. A lot of times it's being wasted. Look, I moved into my house in December 2012. Up to now, I haven't had an electricity bill. I've gone to the EC office several times in Kasua. They send somebody to come and look around, go back, and nothing. Water, I had only one bill for water for more than a year now. As for the water, it doesn't even flow. It comes once in 4 or 5 months for 1 week, and that's all. If it was flowing regularly, why wouldn't I pay? No matter how poor I am, you cannot live without water. Mm-hmm. So you would pay. But you want to pay a reasonable tariff for it within my means. Mm-hmm. So I'll also have to control my consumption. I won't allow the tax to just be flowing and using it to wash cars, all that. So I don't think we are building that culture. We are just saying that don't let the poor rather bear the burden. For example, with the taxes, when you're a salary worker, you don't have a choice. It's deducted at source. So I give the example of the driver. The driver who is on his own, you can't hold him to pay the tax. So you are making the poor salary worker, the laborer in the office pays, the driver in the office pays, but his colleagues outside are not paying. So that we're just saying that spread it to cover everybody. Of course, those that are too poor to pay, there are exemptions. And you must also make sure, if you want to narrow the inequality, you must make sure that you allow those exemptions. And that's why the progressivity that we're talking about also comes in. So you don't pay more than you can afford.
Another thing is the tax exemptions that we give to big corporations to invite them in. One will say, well, on face value is good. Just get him in, and once he's in, after his tax exemption, he'll start paying tax.
That is another thing. You see, tax is on profit. Corporate tax is on profit. And virtually every country, there of course there are a few places we call it tax havens. But virtually every country you pay tax. And some of the countries, they pay more taxes than we do in Ghana. The taxes paid in Denmark are very, very high. But they have a social system. You get the things that you need as for basic life. So people pay huge taxes, but they don't care. Because what is the essence of the taxes? To afford those. So you can get reasonable accommodation, reasonable education, reasonable health, and you pay half of your salary for that, you don't care. That's not the situation here. We say, okay, come in and invest. And they come and invest. Free zone, something. 5 years, they sell out this company to another company without any real change in ownership. And we don't follow to check. Without any real change in ownership, just a change of name. Maybe the same people. Maybe you bring one Ghanaian inside, oh, now it's a local company. And they get another exemption for 5 to 10 years. Again, it's because we are not enforcing the laws. The GRA people are not following these things. So people we bring in abuse our taxes. That's what we call tax avoidance. You look at the loopholes in the law that sets up the tax system, and you exploit them. It's not criminal. It's different from tax evasion, where you can be prosecuted, tax avoidance. But again, the Commissioner General has powers to say that this is a tax avoidance scheme, I'm not going to allow it, I'm adding back all this to your taxable income, and he will tax it. We're not doing that. And we blame it on lack of capacity of the Revenue Authority, which I don't believe. In 1999 to 2000, we went around the whole country, myself and a number of colleagues at IRS, to train all senior officers on the new tax law, Act 592, which came into force in 2000. We treated these things, transfer pricing, ten capitalization, income splitting. They are tax avoidance schemes. We train all officers. We know how to deal with it. But they say, oh, we don't have the capacity. What capacity do we need? You're a trained tax officer. You've been working for 10 to 15 years. You should be able to look at these things. So again, we allow the foreigners to take away. But it's even more than that. The tax law, some of the tax law also give a minister the discretion to decide that this company is, the establishment of this company is in the national interest, so it should be exempted from tax maybe for 5 to 10 years. One person has that discretion. And from my anti-corruption perspective, what do we know that goes into that decision? So
I thought it was Parliament that took this decision.
Parliament has made a general law. In some areas, a minister has the power, like lands and natural resources, to say that, okay, this is in the national interest. It can be granted tax exemption. Certain areas, not all, not all areas, but some areas.
But still.
Yes.
That, you're tax exempt, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. But maybe they will have to bring it to Parliament to endorse. So it's still the same thing. Why should anybody come in, use water, use light, use our roads to produce and be tax exempt for 5 to 10 years? Especially if you are exploiting our natural resources. That cannot be replaced. It is on profit. So take your profit, even if you declare one city profit, let's tax the 1 city profit. But not to just stay and work and go. And some of them are even allowed after that to take all the money that they sell our gold and whatever for, and leave it outside there. Illicit financial flows.
See, because we don't have capital in this country, aren't we always going to be in that situation? Because look, I've brought in my capital to come and invest, and until I get all my capital back, you know, I'm not going to pay you anything. You know, aren't we
no, that thinking, I don't think is right. Until you get all, you must get it in progressively. You must get it back. I mean, in tranches. You cannot get all, so we should wait for 5 years. When we have put in place for you things for you to be able to operate, we should wait for 5 to 10 years for you to get all before you then start paying. And then after the 10 years, you decide that you are selling your company and you go out. There are even other things. They bring equipment, get tax, capital allowances and all those things. After 5 years, they dispose of it, maybe to a sister company and bring another set. Start getting new tax capital allowances. There are various ways that if GRE wants to work, even within the laws, we can get a lot of money. But the laws do need to be reformed to take care of some of the abuses that companies, especially multinational companies, are able to get away with.
But at the time that you were doing your census, even though I'm not saying it was easier, have we maybe multiplied the numbers now and therefore it's too many? Maybe the staff there have reduced, therefore making the job maybe twice as hard as your time. What is the main reason why they can't pitch camp from Dansoman and say, look, we are now moving and combing through the city? You know.
I don't see why they're not doing that. I think they can do that.
Maybe they're reducing
in any case,
numbers.
Why should they be reducing numbers? They bring the money. They should be allowed to recruit if they're short of people. Since I left, they've opened a lot more offices, in more districts and all that. In Accra alone, they've opened more offices. They have now broken down into medium, small-size offices and all that. If this is the one that is bringing the food, you should make sure that that person is fed properly. So I don't think that it's an excuse to say that they're understaffed. Why is government not giving the go-ahead to recruit more? Has the management made any good case for additional staff and they have not got it?
The statistics also show, you know, that the tax havens, I think the scandal reported that we were losing like 1.5 billion in these tax havens. So we are not actually benefiting, we were actually losing. However, the president stated emphatically in his statement that, listen, foreign invested, you know, the status quo still remains. What is the fear that if we tax them, they won't come? What is the fear?
There's no fear. It's just like scaring you. Oh, if you increase your tax, we're not going to come. You are looking for profit. And once you are sure that you get profit, even if you get 10% profit, you would come. They need us, just as we need them. So you have to negotiate properly. Yes, you can come in, but this is how far we can go. They will come. But, of course, they scare us that if you don't do that, we won't come. And what else goes in the negotiations? We may not even be serious. There are cases where people have signed agreements without reading them. You know, you look at the Nimon, if you look at the Nimon agreement, there's a lot that went into it that shouldn't have gone into it. And then another company came and just took the Nimon thing and just, where it's written Nimon, they will change the name to their name. And they run into problems. In the negotiations themselves, the commitment to make sure, to protect the national interest is sometimes not there. So you already allow the loopholes. We have a gold company in this country that entered into a state stabilization agreement that is valid up to 2054. When the decision makers will no longer be alive, and they are passing that on to our children and our children's children.
2054, stabilization agreement. Yes. That's very stable. Because I was going to come to that. My next question is that, are we being bullied by the West? Are we being bullied?
We are being bullied, but we allow ourselves to be bullied. You see, because when you are going for a negotiation and you have these big lawyers and tax experts coming, and you go with people who are not even lawyers, who are not tax experts, for political reasons, you just make an entourage. How do you expect to be able to negotiate effectively to get what you want? Because you have something to give. Tell them, we have this, we can allow you to mine the gold for 50 years, but every 10 years we are going to go back and review this agreement. because we have to also protect our national interests. Find out. We should be able to know in advance what they have, what they can gain from that thing, so that you use it as an argument. Otherwise, they can come and understate what they think they are likely to get from it. And then you'll be easily be convinced. So before you go for the negotiation, you yourself should also know, forecast what is in it for the company. Why does the company want to come into our country? And then you put that against what we also expect. Then you have a good case. You can make a good case. But if we're not able to do all that, we're easily just bullied. So even though we're bullied, we allow ourselves to be bullied. And we need to stop that if we want to progress.
Now, Vitus, I'm going to take a break, but you said something which I want to be a bit controversial with regards to signing contracts that are not necessarily in the interest of the country. And again, this issue has come up about the cost to which it takes to elect MPs and stuff like that. Could that be an influence to say, you know what, let me go and pay back some of these monies that it cost me to get here, and therefore when I'm signing, my interest is my payback time. Stay tuned.
Introducing the all-new quality LCD TV, the most affordable LCD TV in town, built with you in mind. With inbuilt DVD combo player, you don't need a separate DVD player. USB memory input for truly multimedia capability. This TV can be used as a computer screen and comes with a free wall mount worth 80 Ghana cedis, but yours for free. And for the first time, inbuilt surge protection against power fluctuation. Quality TVs won't break down when the power surges. 24, 32 and 42-inch models starting at just 650 Ghana cedis. Also available on hire purchase to all government employees, police, army personnel and the general public for as low as 99 Ghana cedis per month. Call 0302-242-532 or 0204-413-484. Watch the African Cup of Nations in style on a quality TV.
Sometimes your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up, wake up with the great taste of Lipton.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah.
People all around the world enjoy the rich, refreshing taste of Lipton Yellow Label tea.
Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Join the world of Lipton Yellow Label every morning. The #1 tea brand in the world. Source, Euromonitor International.
With all these electricity outages, wouldn't you want to own a fan that provides cool breeze, bright lights, and even enables you to charge your phone when the lights are out? Introducing the all-new Quality Rechargeable Fan. Quality Rechargeable Fan comes with a rechargeable battery that automatically kicks in when the power goes out and works for up to 8 hours, long enough for a good night's sleep. This fan has a super bright LED light feature that comes in handy when your lights are out. This fantastic fan also has a USB portal that you can use to charge any kind of phone. And that's not all. The Quality Rechargeable Fan has anti-rust properties, stylish design, charging indicator, and a backup battery that cuts down your electricity bill. That's 100% value for money. The Quality Rechargeable Fan comes in 18 and 22 inches. For wholesale inquiries, call 0302-242-532. This fan is available on hire purchase to police, army personnel, or government employees, corporate bodies, and the general public for as low as 38 cedis per month. Also available in Monrovia, Liberia, at Syndicated Capital Liberia, located at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5586. Quality Rechargeable Fan. Electricity or no electricity, air they blow, light they bright, even your phone serve they charge.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Signing contracts on our behalf, or signing contracts on the behalf of the nation, and all too often some shady deals have come to this nation. Because sometimes you read this deal and you wonder, did he read it before he signed it? Who approved these deals? And you know, all this week, one of the main issues that's come up is that MPs may take bribe or maybe accept some gift somewhere to sign something. And I'm arguing that if we put them through, even though it's not voluntary, put them through that cost and they get there, you know, anybody would want to somehow replace all these monies they've lost. And it might go against us, and it's showing some of these loans and these, funding agreements that is coming. Could that be a factor?
Well, it is a factor. I don't think that we should say that we put them through. They decided to go through that system. They knew that that is what is involved. Because if you don't know that that's what is involved and you go in for the first 4 years, why do you go back if you suffered in going back? Some have said, oh, if you had a chance, we won't go back. But they always go back. And they don't just go back. They put in extra effort to go back to Parliament. So it's natural to want to recover the money. And there are two reasons, or two instances. When you get back the first 2 years, you want to recover what you have spent. The next 2 years, you want to accumulate for the next election. So they continue to look for money. But then they should do it in a legal way. They should put the national interest ahead of their being in Parliament. Somebody should say that I'm in Parliament to serve my people. So if I know that this agreement is going to go against the state, I will not sign.
But is the system not making good people bad?
The people have put in place a system. So if the people don't want the system to be bad, it won't be bad. But we take advantage of the system. So we cannot blame the system. We have agreed that as a nation, that democracy is the way we want to go. So we will go that way. But let's make sure that we get the best out of it. It's not an excuse to say because I've spent so much. When people come and say, oh, I pay school fees, I do this, that's why. So I ask the question. A young man who has not eaten the whole day picks a knife and stabs somebody and takes his money away. Wouldn't he be arrested? Wouldn't he be prosecuted? He hasn't eaten the whole day. So if you come into power, 50,000, take it and go and rent a house. Another amount, go and buy a car. Then a month later, you are made a minister of state, put in a government house, given 2 cars. You haven't refunded the 50,000, you haven't refunded the other one, double. And you still have problems that you have an excuse to do things that are not normal. It's not okay. How about the ordinary person? So as for those things, you should not listen to them, you should not accept them as an excuse. You came in to serve. So you serve. You are paid legally. You can do business, you can do other things legally. But it's not an excuse to do the wrong thing because of that. Otherwise, you are saying that the system we've chosen for ourselves is not the correct system. So what change, what system do we want to have that we will not be tempted to do those things? I don't think we want to think about that. We've gone far beyond that. So that's how I look at that.
Good.
So in signing the contract, yes, it is something that might be influence them to take into consideration that, well, if this, and people will always tempt you. They may offer you. But President Kufuor said you have to pinch yourself. Am I doing the right thing? So you don't do it.
The other issue is the gap between countries, not necessarily even within nations, but even the gap between nations and how unfair we are placed. It comes back to the same point where you're saying that, well, we probably don't have a case to stand on because we bring it upon ourselves. Or what can the international society do to help us?
First, the international society, community, they put pressures on us on some of these, especially with regards to tax. IMF is always in front. You need to reduce your tax base to a certain level to attract foreign direct investment. We agree, but we also compete among ourselves. Ghana wants investors, Ivory Coast wants investors. We have the same resources. So each country now tries to reduce and it becomes like a competition, tax competition. So that is one side that we will again blame ourselves. But the other thing is, when we steal money and go and put in foreign banks and they use it to develop their countries, shouldn't they be blamed for that, accepting those money? Secrecy laws that protect monies that are put into their banks and they use to develop their countries, turn around and give us loans. One day I just made an analysis. From May to about August, the number of students that go to the US Embassy and the UK Embassy and High Commission to get visas to go outside. And some of them are rejected. They say you can reapply. Before you reapply, you have to go and pay again. Those monies a substantial percentage of the aid that they give us. So they are partly to blame for our problems, apart from the fact that they allow these companies to siphon monies back into their countries, avoid taxes, put them into tax havens in their various countries.
Why is this? You know, you look, according to the report, you look at sub-Saharan Africa, and you know it's very prevalent in many of the countries within the sub-Saharan Africa. Is it our struggle to break away from the colonial mentality, or what makes it just stuck in that region? And
well, this study covered 8 countries in Africa. It was an African study. Like even though Christian Aid is a global, but the Tax Justice Network is based in Nairobi. It's an African branch of the Tax Justice Network. So it was targeting African countries, sub-Saharan Africa. That's one. And the aim was to look at what is the situation of inequality in Africa. So I think that's why there was that concentration. But also because of our level of development, we cannot compare ourselves to the Western countries, the OECD countries and all that. But there are other countries in other continents that are like us.
But haven't we got, I mean, up until recently, we had a lot of subsidy this and subsidy that and subsidy this, all saying that, oh, subsidize kerosene because the poor, subsidize this because the poor. So in the tax element, aren't we doing a lot to save the same poor in society?
No, I don't think that we're doing enough to save the poor in society. As I said, there are 2 aspects of it. You increase your tax efforts so that you generate more money and use it to invest in the poor in society. We're not increasing our tax effort, and we're not also using it to benefit the majority of the poor in society. So it's not the same. As our population is increasing, as the economic things become more and more, the economy becomes more and more difficult. This is the time that the poor would have needed the state's support. But this is the time we're saying that the government cannot do all of it. Yet, some people are being taken care of completely by the state. But for the poor, it's so disheartening to see a child being brought on radio to appeal for money to go for a heart surgery. And yet, we can pay for people to go, supporters to go and support the World Cup. Maybe I'm not a football fan, that's why I talk like this, but I still think that why should a child of 5 years be brought on radio? What is the use of the state? So we are not making enough tax effort, but also whatever we get, we are not using it to alleviate the suffering of the poor in our society.
We have a 4-year cycle, and you've explained, you have 2 years to recoup, 2 years to gather.
To start accumulating. To
start accumulating so that you head for your next term if you're going to be in power or not. How or which part of this cycle do we put the brakes on and say, no, we can't go this way anymore. This is the way we are going. Because you don't have that much time. Because this is a whole thing, training the GRA, probably going back to the schools and reconditioning children's minds on the benefit of taxes and everything. So it's a huge program. And there's nowhere to fit them in our 4-year cycle.
Yeah, I think that if you want to continue, there's no place where you put the brakes on it. We need people who will come and say, look, I have a plan. I'm determined to do this for this country. If it means just for 4 years and I'll leave, I'm ready to do that. So you take decisions without caring whether you lose votes or not.
You see, I've gotten
but as long as you want to continue to stay, there's no place.
See, I've gotten that answer so many times. Oh, somebody who just wants to do his 1 term and go. But the party that brought you in, they need their next candidate to come. So it's no matter you losing and going. You need to do what will bring the party in. And that's letting people sell on the roads. That's not going to tax everybody. That's not taxing this. So that you can go and then we can bring our next candidate and stay. Because the party becomes bigger than the president. So that's the dilemma the president has.
No, I don't think it's a dilemma. When Nelson Mandela decided to go, didn't he have a party? You are going to say, yes, you brought me in. I think if you give me the support, this is what I want to do. And I'm sure that it will get us votes. But you want to go in the cheap way. If you want to go in the cheap way, you can go the cheap way, you get your votes, but I will step out. But nobody would like to do that. Because, look, I'm sure that if we have somebody who comes and says that this is the right thing, I'm going to do this for the 4 years, more people vote for him than they will vote for somebody that is going the cheaper way. But of course, you yield to your party. And that means that you are saying that the party is bigger than Ghana.
But haven't we created that system?
And even if you got 50% plus, how about the 45, the 40% of Ghanaians? What are you doing about them?
But haven't we created a system where, you know, the parties now become more a priority? I mean, we have created that system.
We've created that system. But somebody needs to get up and say, look, we have to change the system. Even in the case of corruption, you are known to belong, let's say, to party A. You do something wrong. Even if it is criminal, you are arrested and your party people come and sit at the police station. Vigil. When you were committing your crime, when you were making your money, were you sharing it with the party people? We need to begin to think. And especially the young ones who are misused to do some of this, they need to begin to realize that the 20 series that you are getting cannot take care of you for your life. And that it's wrong for you to support somebody that has done the wrong thing. It will take a long time, but I'm sure that we'll get there.
Thank you very much, Vitis Azim. Reforming Ghana's tax regime, and as you can see, it's a whole holistic thing, and it takes one person with absolutely a big spine and a political will to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to change the status quo. We couldn't get the finance minister, we couldn't get GRE, we tried our best so that they could tell us what they are doing from their side to help us, but we did not get them. But as I always announce on Thursday, tune in to Joy FM or my Joy Online at 2:05 and listen to a piece I call That's My Opinion. Now tomorrow I'm going very controversial, and I'm saying that there are some people who are not entitled to one vote. We need to count 1,000, and for the 1,000 they will be counted as one vote. Why? You need to tune in tomorrow. My name is Nadan Sakwa. Thanks for tuning. We're back to do it all over again tomorrow.
Welcome to the show again.
African cinema to thrill you. Cine Afrique.
Cine Afrique, Spirit of Africa.
Business Live is the single common factor that underpins the traffic, the bustle in our cities, and the millions of conversations across the country. On Mondays, Joy Business invites you to join the nation for a 30-minute uninterrupted analysis of the top business stories that made the headlines. Who made money? Who lost money? What are the new opportunities? What were the new growth bulls? How are the major players and even the minor ones reacting to the big and small movement in business today? And what does it take to do better in business tomorrow? Business Live on TV and online. Listen every Monday at 5 p.m. on Joynews, only on Multi-TV.
Defense-splitting passes, net-rocking defending, crucial saves, heart-and-mouth moments, and breathtaking goals of the beautiful game.
What a magnificent individual goal!
Everything football on the Football Show on the Joy Sports Channel and Multi-TV from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Mondays and Fridays. My name is George Addy Jr., and with my team of experts, expect razor-sharp analysis as we cover every conceivable angle and examine every scenario of the old beautiful game. Remember, it's Mondays and Fridays on the Joy Sports Channel. This show is powered by Joy Sports, the thrill of the game.